do you mind if I talk about the worst parts of my favorite movies?
Okay,
Top Gun.
sounds good.
Top Gun 2.
Okay, yeah, one of the best movies of 2022 for me.
Was it 2022?
Yeah, come on, yes. It was in 2022.
I thought it was 21. Okay.
No, come
I
on.
just saw it last year. Do you remember the plot of Top Gun 1?
Yeah, more or less like the plot, yeah.
All right, describe it to me.
Come on, no, you should talk.
Tell me the plot of Top Gun 1. Because I saw Top Gun 1 like a long time ago. Like I only saw it again recently just before I watched Top Gun 2 in the cinema. But before that, I saw it like 15 years before that.
Ah, okay. Yeah, me too. I was a kid.
Yeah, I always thought the whole time he's fighting bad guys. You know, I didn't realize he was in a training academy the whole time because I was a kid. I was just watching airplanes fighting each other. I didn't realize he's gone to Top Gun Academy and he's just practicing. He's trying to become the best in the class.
Yeah.
And
actually, I think he was one of the best.
He came second. Iceman comes first. But at the end, they have a real mission, and they have to fight like some Russian pilots or something. And you know, because Goose dies in that movie, and it messes with his mind. And he starts disengaging from all the battles. He doesn't want to fight and stuff like that. But then in the end, he saves Iceman, and they're like, "Wow, you're a flying genius. You're amazing." And it took me a lot of times watching that, even though it's so simple. But
it was very entertaining, and it also had some romantic scenes.
Yeah, like Top Gun's a perfect movie. It's simple.
And the music.
Yeah, like the soundtrack is amazing. The story is very simple.
Actually, I think I liked the romantic scenes more in the first one than in the second one. I really liked
because they had
the vibes between
They had the 80s vibes. They had the 80s romantic thing going on there.
Yeah, and I don't know, I like that woman. I like that actress.
But I think that the second movie is the perfect sequel.
Yeah, it was great, don't get me wrong.
I think, like, I think it's as good. Yes, I think it's as good as the first one.
Yeah. I think it's just like...
Okay, maybe the first one I prefer a bit better. But it's very close.
No, I think for me, both are very, very nice. I think it's just like, you know me, that I really like the 80s shows and the 80s vibe. So I think it's just this is the only reason, but I liked both a lot. And actually watching the second one, I was so amazed by Tom Cruise. I mean, it's just like, it's unbelievable how he looks, no? Because he's like 60, man.
Yeah.
And
this is one of the funny parts I wanted to talk about because like there's this one part of the movie where he's sneaking into the woman's house and sneaking out the window like he's a teenager and he doesn't want the parents to find out.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, this guy is 60 years old jumping out of a woman's window from the second floor. Hilarious.
And you know, the first one was made in 1986.
Yeah, 1986, damn.
So, like 36 years ago, no?
God damn.
Like, I mean, well, we watched the second one 2022, so between the two movies, I think that there were 36 years now. Am I wrong?
Yeah, about that. But let me...
Like, wow.
Let me tell you about like... Because I said like, I like the first movie a bit better, but it doesn't have that moment that Top Gun 2 has that I love, which is the part where they get into that F-14 Tomcat. We see it on the runway. I'm like, oh, I hope they use that. Like, I really hope they use that. And when he gets into that, oh, there's no way out of here. We're on the ground and there's no way out of here. Oh, wait a minute. I'm like, they're not. Yes, they're gonna get into the F-14 Tomcat, yeah. And then they take off in that. And I was like, okay, it was good enough that they got into it, but then they start like dogfighting in that thing, in this airplane that's like 35 years old or more.
But it was so brave because they went to the flight just like, you know, like so normal, but they were surrounded by the enemies.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
but that part,
they had balls.
That part blew my mind. I was like, okay, you've given me everything I want in this movie.
It was very exciting.
But I was still a bit confused about one of the plot points in the movie, which is like the modern planes are the Generation 5 fighters. They're the F-35 Lightning II, something like that, yeah?
I don't know.
And these things are so advanced, you know? And they had a reason that they couldn't use this, which was the enemy is equipped with GPS jammers, so we can't use the F-35s. And I'm like, GPS jammers? You could shoot a missile like from 10 miles away and hit those surface-to-air missiles. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because.
But you also said something that it was because of the fact that there were two people sitting in the jet.
Oh, because they couldn't do it in real life because these are one-seat planes.
Ah.
And so like the cameraman has to be in the plane to film and all that. And
I guess they also need like a professional pilot.
But that's the real world reason, you know?
Ah, okay.
The reason that they used in the movie was ridiculous.
Ah, okay.
Like, no, you could fire a missile and hit all of those things from miles away with those jets. I think they could have even, they said they needed the laser modules on because what they ended up using was F-18s.
You know this.
F-18 Super Hornets. F-18s, yeah? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna fly below the missiles in this gully area. And then we're gonna do it with 2 planes and 4 people. I can't remember what there's a pilot and a radar operator or something like this. Mm-hmm. And one of them like has the laser that goes into the target, and then the second plane will come and shoot the missile.
Ah, yeah.
And I saw people saying they can't do this because they use GPS systems on the F-35, but they couldn't put a laser module on a F-35. You know, I'm sure they could if there was a radar, if there was a GPS jammer. Mm-hmm. I just think that was kind of ridiculous, but like they needed a reason. What they should have said is like there's still something wrong with the jets and they're not operational right now. That's what so all the planes are grounded because they're relatively new and it happens with all fighter jets.
But what was the worst scene?
The worst scene, okay.
Because you wanted to talk about the worst scene or scenes or bad scenes. Okay,
the worst scene that I think, it's not a worst scene in particular, it's the worst part, which is where the Admiral, played by Ed Harris, legendary actor.
Yeah.
You remember this?
Yeah, of course, I remember.
He comes in and he just can't wait to shut Maverick's whole thing down. Like Maverick's trying to go Mach 10 or something like this.
He really doesn't like him at all.
And why do all these people have a grudge against him? It wasn't just him, it was the other guy when he went to the Top Gun Academy too. Other guy.
The only person who protected him was Iceman. But otherwise, it seemed that everybody was against Maverick.
And I don't know why.
Maybe jealousy or...
He's a legendary war hero. I just can't see an admiral. Oh, by the way, the admiral's got to be like 100 years old because Tom Cruise is 60. Yeah. But he comes in and he's like, yeah, we're going to replace all of you with drone pilots and you human pilots are going to be a relic of a bygone era, you're a thing of the past, and like this is one of the themes of the movie. But I just can't see an admiral saying this to a decorated war hero that saved other pilots in combat and stuff. And he's an old guy himself, you know. Yeah. He doesn't want to be replaced with drones and stuff like that. He doesn't want this to become. He's not going to want this to become normal in the Navy. So I personally think it would have been better, instead of like this old admiral coming in and saying this, like someone else can come and say the same thing, but not the old admiral. I think it should have been a younger guy that got fast-tracked through the Navy because of his technical expertise and stuff. So, and he's like replacing different segments of the Army and the Air Force and the Navy with drones and AI and all that. And he's come into the Navy and he's like, yeah, we're gonna replace people like you, Maverick. And he's just some young guy who's never seen combat, never done anything. I think that would have worked much better than have the admiral say this. Because I just can't see an admiral saying that to a decorated war hero like that. And that's the only part of the movie.
Well, but it's not like a huge.
No, it's not a huge thing. So it's just,
you know, it also shows that it was really like a great movie.
I'm just nitpicking, and that is one of my favorite movies. It's one of the. I think it's gonna go down as one of the best sequels of all time, and that's the only part I would change.
And normally sequels are worse.
Yeah.
And so when you see one which is actually as good as the first one,
it's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah. And after 36 years, so I think they did a great job.
Yeah, Top Gun 1 even had some silly parts. I can't. Like when they're just on the beach gratuitously with their shirts off, like playing volleyball. They did that again in Top Gun 2. Yeah. And Tom Cruise got his shirt off. He's like, yo, I'm one of the boys here.
Wow, he looks amazing.
Yeah,
he looks amazing. I'm very sorry that...
Val Kilmer?
No, I'm sorry about the actress who was in the first one.
Oh, that she. So he had to have a new woman that was 25 years younger. He's Tom Cruise Maverick.
I would be happy if I could see her.
It would have been good if they inserted her in some capacity. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I can't even remember what her role was in.
I mean, I just don't really like when they change, actors. But I like this new actress.
They didn't change the actor. They just put in she's a new character.
Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah. It's
so
true.
It's good. Yeah, it would have been cool to see that lady in this one.
Yeah, you're right.
But other than that, Admiral Ed Harris thing, like I think they should have just given Ed Harris a different part, because it would have been cool to keep him. But give him a different part where he's not being the dickhead. Or if he's being the dickhead, it's not because he wants to replace pilots in the Navy. That's crazy. That's the worst part of the movie. Of a great movie.